Hello, my friend. Welcome to live chat. I just went upstairs and I refilled my coffee and we are ready to chat for today. This is going to be an interesting topic because I've been on this channel since 2012. I want to say April 2012. And when you start a YouTube channel with the intent of it becoming a full-time job, one of the dreams is to have a viral video, right? You want to have people look at what you do and say, "Oh my gosh, that was amazing. You're amazing. Everything's amazing." But what I've learned, even though I don't think any of my videos have ever, would be considered a viral video. I've had videos get a lot of attention, but I don't know if viral is the right word. But having been on this platform for a long time collectively, you know, I've had the experience of having strangers either really like me or really not like me, and also, having my content be judged by lots of people. And I will tell you, when I started this channel, I had no idea what I was getting into. I had no idea because also, social media was still kind of a baby, and really it still kind of is in probably the grand scheme of things. I mean, if you think about the evolution of technology, but we're not going to go there yet. I feel like the human brain is not wired for going viral. We were not meant to be able to handle so many eyes on us on social media. Our brain, it just isn't able to do that, and there are consequences for that. But if that's true, why are there so many people, including myself, who have reached for viral moments and really want that in our lives? So I wanted to talk about that kind of dichotomy, that wanting to go viral versus the actual impact of when it really happens. This was inspired by the Jules LeBron story that we talked about today in What's Up in Makeup, and what's happening with her and her virality. It also got me thinking about like Risa Tisa and how they're now making a Netflix movie based on her story, Who the F Did I Marry? And then just thinking about other viral moments that have come and gone and how that must impact the creator, because it's so different than when you sign up to be an actor. It's very different. And I want to kind of explore that today because you all know I find human behavior absolutely fascinating. And one thing I love about live chat is that it's not just me processing this information, spitting out ideas. It's the people that are also here live. And the collective brain really, that's why we're the collective brain, is because I have some of the smartest people here who weigh in some of the most interesting ideas on topics. And I thought this would be a great thing to discuss and chat about and kind of bring all of our understandings of viral videos and the impact of those have on human beings to the next level. So that's what we're talking about today. But before we do, I would like to introduce you to some of the people that are here live. When I invite people into my home, I like to introduce them to you. So let's talk about a little bit about who's here. Of course, I won't get to everybody, but we'll introduce a few people. So Tracy, hello. Good morning to you. Hello, Teresa. Teresa is one of our fabulous moderators. I'm sure Flory is floating around somewhere. Audra and Steph, thank you so much to the four of you for being our fabulous moderators and keeping us a nice, happy, safe place to be. I appreciate you so, so much. Roya, good morning. Happy Sunday to you. And Tracy saying hello again. And Teresa again. And Julia, happy Sunday to you. Tish, good morning. Disney. Wow, you're waiting in line at Disney. What are you waiting in line for? I'm quite jealous. Actually, my friend Linda from Glitter Fallout that I'm traveling with next week after next. She just got back from a trip to Disney and had a fabulous time. So, quite jealous right now, but I hope you have a wonderful time. Have a good time for me. Miss Lavender, good morning to you. Good morning, Jennifer. Happy Sunday in Southwest Louisiana. Yeah, New Orleans is the only place I've ever been in Louisiana, just twice. Um, and I know that that does not represent Louisiana as a whole, like not even close. So I would love to visit other places in Louisiana as well. I did enjoy my time in New Orleans. Um, but it was a nice visit for me. It's not a permanent vibe for me, but it was a nice visit. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the people that I was with. But I would love to see more of Louisiana. Gigi, good morning in Minnesota, one of my new favorite states. Christine, good morning to you. And it looks like Tish is in line. Flight of Passage in Animal Kingdom. Have a wonderful time. Oh, you're a pass holder. Well, have a wonderful time. Mel, good morning to you. Happy Sunday. Lana B, good morning. She says it's been a while. I finally get a Sunday morning to myself, warm coffee and chat. I am with you. We can have our warm coffee and chat together. Hello, my friend Daniel. Good morning. Daniel has had brain tumor issues for a very, very long time, and he just got his scan, and he is still cancer free. So, congratulations to Daniel. Still doing very well. And this is something Daniel shares on his social media. So I'm not, I'm not exposing his private information. Daniel and I have been friends for a really long time. Nice Gigi says, Tish hanging out at Disney while chatting about makeup sounds like my dream job. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. All right. So let's go ahead and let's, good morning. If I did not say good morning to you, good morning to you. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. I'm going to scroll all the way down and let's talk about it. So the first question is I do feel like that there's different kinds of people in this world. People like and enjoy certain kinds of attention. Some people don't like certain kinds of attention. And that really dictates whether we are content creators or not. Some people really don't like eyes on them. And those people, bless you, because you've chosen the easier path. But I do think that some of us, there is a thrill from creating content and having a lot of people see it and have a positive reaction to the thing that you've created. I feel like it's like that with any kind of art, as you might say. Not that all viral content is art. Well, I mean, it depends on your definition of art. If art is just something that evokes emotion, then even this goofiest content might be considered art. Maybe, I don't know. But I do think that some people really enjoy that. But the problem is it's a trap. I have like a fuzz on my lip. The problem is it's a trap. I think that there are people that are creating content just to have that viral moment. And I think that may be disastrous for some people once they actually get it. And that's kind of what we're going to be getting in today. People are looking for new followers, new subscribers, to have fans, to have people watching what they're doing. It's exciting. It's thrilling. It's kind of a validation moment for people. And that's where it leads to the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone. Is that how that goes? I don't think it's highway. Take a ride into. It's been a while since I've watched Top Gun. I think that's where it gets dangerous, is when you get validation from going viral. I think that's where the crux of don't do it. I think that's where that comes from. And there's a lot of reasons why that's super, super dangerous. But I think people are chasing that boost in self-esteem. I think people are chasing that desire to have people tell them that they did a good job. But the problem with a viral video is a lot of times it'll go in front of people's eyes and then it'll disappear. And what do you do then? You know? Um, and of course, there's also the opportunity for the monetization of it. There's the opportunity for getting sponsorships, ad revenue if you're on YouTube or TikTok. I don't think I haven't kept up on the latest on Instagram as far as if they're paying creators and how that works. I know TikTok monetization is very, very small compared to YouTube. Actually, it's funny. Just to give you an idea of the difference between a short form content on YouTube versus long form content about how much money people make. So I just clipped a little clip from live chat from last week and I made it into a YouTube short because I know I'm supposed to be doing that stuff. So I clipped it into a short. I put it on TikTok. I put it on my Instagram. I put it on YouTube shorts. That video got about 8,000 views, something like that, which is nothing for a short on YouTube. A lot of people are getting, lots and lots of views, but 8,000, about a little less than 8,000 views made me $1.70, which is great. I mean, I'll take $1.70 as $1.70 I didn't have before. But that same content on YouTube 70 times on a full length video. I mean, just so on YouTube, a good solid CPM, or it's like the how much money you make per 1,000 views, good solid is about $10. Beauty space, we tend to make a little more than $10 CPM. I'll just put that out there. Or yeah, CPM. We'll stick with CPM and that's before YouTube takes their cut. Okay, I don't want to expose all the inner workings of exactly what creators make because we've seen in the past that does not go well for the person that exposes that. So so just if you a good solid amount is $10 per 1,000. So 7,000 views would be about $70 for a modest for a good solid monetization, and in shorts it was $1.70. So short form content just doesn't pay the way that longer form content does when it comes down to it. So when you go viral on TikTok, let's say, you have to get millions and millions of views in order to monetarily make some good money off of it, unless you're accepting the brand sponsorships. But if you have eyes on you, then you're getting those brand sponsorships most likely. Like, for example, with Jules, she's done things with, I know I clipped a part of her video she did with Zillow. She's done a bunch of other ones too, but I can't remember off the top of my head. That's where the money really is made on TikTok, is promoting products. It's earning money off of TikTok Shop, stuff like that. That's why you see so many creators over there making ads, is because the actual ad revenue off of views is not good. So that viral moment, I think people are looking, they think maybe they might make money off of the views, which they probably won't really, but it's that potential ad revenue off of sponsorships. I think that's what a lot of people I think are reaching for, because it can be life-changing money. It absolutely can be. Like if you're a Jules or if you're a Risa Tisa, it can be life-changing. Just very quickly, I want to thank very quickly Alexis for gifting a membership to the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. That is so kind of you. People get so excited when they're gifted memberships. Thank you so much. Yeah, Nikki says, you're expected to try to be an influencer to support your business, and I just want to do hair. Nikki, that is another really great point. Hi, Nikki, by the way. Nikki, there no matter what business you're in, a lot of people are encouraging business owners and people who have small businesses, people that are independent contractors. Maybe you're a hairstylist and you rent a chair. You're expected to create this content and try to get your content to go viral so that you can get more people in your chair. And some people just don't want that. That's a whole nother piece of it. Absolutely. Yes, and Dolphins Girl, all press is good press doesn't translate to social media. I don't think it does. I genuinely don't. And we're going to get a little bit more into that in a minute. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but absolutely, 100%, 100%. Oh, Mark of Arc says, I don't even know how I made it to this corner of the internet as a gay man who doesn't wear makeup, but I love it here. I love that you're here. Thanks for being here. I hope you enjoy the content. We've been doing a lot of not as much makeup content here. So you are very welcome. And hopefully you enjoy what's happening here. Um, CPM, just to make sure I was clear, is how much money you make per thousand views on, or how much money is the advertisers pay, I should say, for 1,000 views. RPM is how much the creator makes per thousand views, which is different, but I didn't talk about that. I don't want to get too in the weeds on that. It's basically when somebody clicks on your video for every 1,000 of them, $10 is considered a really solid amount of money to make per 1,000 views. Every niche on YouTube makes different amounts. Every video makes different amounts. It's very complex. Like if you're in gaming, you're probably lucky to get $4 per 1,000 views. Vlogging, very low monetization. But if you're in selling, if you sell technology, if you're in real estate, if you are in the beauty space, you're going to get paid more per 1,000 views than someone in vlogging or gaming. I don't know how they figure it out. I think it probably has to do with what kinds of videos generate clicks on those ads that are being shown, and the possible, are people coming to that video with money in their pocket, possibly to spend it. I think that's kind of, they kind of evaluate the different niches in that way. So yeah, and there are a lot of people, Anila is how I'm going to say your name. Hopefully I did okay with that. I'm on TikTok just to be creative, not to make money. There are a lot of creators that are not trying to go viral. Absolutely. This video, I wanted to focus on the ones that do want to go viral, but it's very important to recognize there are definitely people out there that don't want to go viral. All right. So anyway, some people will, lay their self-esteem on whether or not they have a successful social media channel. And that's where the danger comes in. Also, like myself, a lot of people want to do this as a career. They don't like their job. They don't like, what they're doing in their day job, and they see social media as a way to do something different. There's lots of people that make career changes later in life. I think when I was younger, you kind of were told, you pick your career when you go into college, and then you're supposed to stay in that career because that's what you went to college for. That's what you do. And then you just do that. And then you retire and then you're done. Like that's it. But I do feel like there are a lot more people that are changing careers now, that it's seen as more socially accepted to change careers, and doing social media as a job is a legitimate career. And I think it's taking a while for society to recognize that it absolutely is. And I can tell you that for a fact because I've been doing this as my job since 2016. And I was an elementary school teacher. If you're not aware, I was a special education teacher, fourth grade teacher, elementary school. And the second year that I was doing this full time, I surpassed my money that I was making as a special education teacher with a master's degree, which is really freaking sad. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's just what happened. And I was a lot happier because I just, I could go into that later of why I was happier, but I always wanted to do, I was, in plays in high school, and I, always wanted to do things in front of a camera my whole life. So this was a better fit for me personally. The performance in front of my class, because I was a performer in front of my class, I would dress up in costumes and I would make up characters and I would, do different things to try to teach different concepts. And, I felt I was trying to fit it into my job as a teacher, and I was pretty good at it, but I think that this job fits me better. So anyway, I got to do my dream job, and I'm very, very thankful that I get to do this. But anyway, that's what I think a lot of people are looking for. Some people are looking for is to make it a full-time job, but it really is difficult to get there. It really is. So what that turns to is the negative impacts of going viral and what people don't expect. And I think that that's something that I worry about for people, that they aren't really thinking about that, because once I heard somebody say, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. It's kind of like that. Once you go viral for something, if you're very widespread for that thing, you'll be recognized forever for that. I was actually watching on Hulu last night after I finished What's Been Makeup, a documentary called Brats. It was written, it's a documentary where one of the members of the 80s Brat Pack, group of young actors in their 20s at the time, was trying to get other people that were considered, the Brat Pack back in that time and try to interview them about what that experience was like and how it impacted their careers. And it was based on an article that was written about them on the New York Times, and it affected all of their careers, this being labeled the Brat Pack. They took it as an insult. And that affected them for the rest of their lives. The social media, not social media, but the social impact of that article impacted this group of people for their entire lives, at least most of them. And I don't think people consider when you have a viral moment, you're throwing yourself into something like that. And it could be intentional, it could be unintentional. You could be like Jules and just recording a video in your car on your break at work. And the next thing you know, you have sponsorships from frickin' Zillow. And yeah, exactly. Exactly, Natalie. The internet is forever. You can never truly delete anything. It's very, very true. And you have to be careful when you put yourself out on the internet who you want to be known as, because it's very difficult to correct a viral moment if you go viral for something that you didn't intend. And that's something I don't think necessarily people think about. Yes, absolutely. Alexa says being a teacher is not easy and not money efficient. Teachers mainly do it out of love. They do. Absolutely. And some of my teacher friends are still very much in it, still doing it out of love, but a lot of them are looking to retire because love only takes you so far. I'll be honest with you, love only takes you so far. You can love the job, you can love the kids, but being a teacher is so much more complex than just doing it for love. It's a really hard job. It's a really hard job. It's very hard. So anyway, once you have that viral moment and you've done that thing, you have all these eyes on you and people are going to remember you for that one thing. But also you get this big dopamine hit of, I did something. Now let's pretend that it's a positive reason you're going viral. Plenty of people go viral for something negative. Let's pretend it's something positive. Let's only talk about positive things for a minute because they're very different experiences. You've gone viral for something positive. You're so excited because you've created this thing, you've done this thing, and people are looking at you and telling you how amazing you are and how great it is, this thing that you've created. But the hype around that one thing is not going to last very long at all. You think about some of the viral moments we've had in the past. What about the corn kid? What happened to him? Where is he? It's corn was freaking everywhere. What was it? The guy riding in my Fiat. All those different viral moments. What happened to those people? We don't know what happened to them. They've gone off to live whatever life they've chosen. But what I'm concerned about is people that get that big dopamine hit of that viral moment and then trying to chase that forever, trying to chase that feeling of validation from a mass recognition of a lot of people. That's what I'm concerned about. You get this anxiety of meeting the expectations of this new audience. How do you handle that? How do you keep it going? If you enjoyed this, if this was your goal, how do you keep that going? It's really like in a lot of viral situations, you just can't keep it going. There's a lot of things that happen that you just can't make it happen again. You can't make the magic hit twice. And that's frustrating. That's frustrating and upsetting. He was amazing. I love the freaking corn kid, man. I wish him nothing but the best. I love that kid. I hope he's doing well. Yeah, this is interesting. Kimberly says, I've been following since L'Occitane. That was a thing. I would have considered that video to have gone viral based on where we were at content consumption back then. Possibly. I guess so. Yeah, maybe. That video, I don't know how many views it has at this point. Maybe 800,000, something like that. A lot. It's gotten a lot of views, but that's been over, many years. But yeah, that did get a lot of attention at the time. But I don't know if that was widespread. That's the thing. Is it's like if you think about people like Jules and like Risa Tisa and stuff like even people back then that were going viral, I don't feel like I really did that. I think in like a circle I did, but not as widespread as I think, can happen. Kimberly says, "How did the evolution of the L'Occitane reaction affect you as a creator?" That's a really good question. We'll get back into my thing because I do think this is an interesting point. I am going to get off topic in live chats. If this is your first live chat, sometimes I drift off a bit. I think it made me overconfident. I think the reaction to L'Occitane made me overconfident. It made me I believe I was right in that situation, and I think that it almost boosted my ego too much to the point where I felt like I was the hero in my own story and not realized that people wanted me to be the villain. And I didn't have any respect for that. And I think sometimes I got a little overconfident in the things that I did and the things that I said, partially because I was getting so much positive feedback from that video. Basically, the short of it, if you didn't see that video, is that I had gotten a sponsorship with L'Occitane through a third party, and I told them what I was going to make. I told the third party what I was going to make. I worked really hard on the content. I was supposed to make 2 videos. I put up the one video, and a couple hours later, the third party contacted me and demanded that I take the video down, that L'Occitane didn't want the video out there. And it was because I had done an ingredient analysis, because that was something I had done on their Immortelle flour, and talked about the lack of research behind that particular ingredient. And I talked about how they weren't cruelty free because they were selling in China, and there were labs testing on their behalf in China, which is what happens there. And they didn't want that out there. So they demanded I take my video down. And I did, which was upsetting to me because I worked really hard on it. And then they refused to pay me. And it was in my contract that, and I was very clear about what I was going to be doing in the video, and they refused to pay me. So the video was about, showing the contracts and how the behind the scenes worked, how the contracts worked. And the third party ended up paying me my fee. I don't believe L'Occitane ever did, which is really sad because I was just being honest. And I think that's what it was. It talked a lot about the back end of working in a sponsorship that I don't think people knew. And I think that's why it kind of resonated with people. But I do think that it made me a little bit overconfident in my knowledge and my in all of the things that I wish I could have pulled that back a little bit. In hindsight, that would have been good. So yeah, so that was a thing. But anyway, and I think that speaks to having a lot of eyes on you and how that can affect you as a person. It can kind of inflate your ego a little bit, and that's not good, because when, like I said, when a piece of content goes viral, if you tie your value or your worth to the success of a social media channel, you are setting yourself up for disaster. You're absolutely setting yourself up for disaster. It's like, building a house on a beach and knowing that there are natural disasters that may blow your house down. It's like, it might be nice during the summer when you're sitting on the beach. When that natural disaster comes, your house is getting crushed, and it's going to fall down. So, so I think it's that fear of, there is a fear when you do have a viral moment, and you do, especially if it's something that's kind of small, like the people that are going viral now, the going viral off of one short piece of content, there isn't a resonance there. There isn't a community there to hold the house up. There's no solid foundation. If there is, it's not nearly as big as who's watching you now. So, like, for example, Jules had a great following before all this happened to her. But compared to what she's seeing now, the foundation, I don't know if her core people can support her if she can't continue, if she wants this, which it looks like she does, if she wants to continue this kind of platform, she's going to have to create more content that appeals to a wide audience. She's not going to be able to handle, she's not going to be able to hold on to the 54 million views that she got on that. You just can't. It's not possible for any human being. But her goal now is to hold on to as many people as possible by continuing to create excellent content that people are interested in. And that's the challenge. And I'm hoping that she's not tying her personal worth to whether people are watching her future content or not. Natalie, you're right. Virality isn't sustainable. Absolutely. Absolutely. Amy says, in most cosmetic companies make their money on BS products with hyped up media and not on actual quality of said product. Yeah. And it's very similar to that kind of situation. You have to have something of substance in order to hold on to people. And that's why I feel like, when you get that brand loyalty to certain brands, and I think we all have certain brands we have a brand loyalty to because everything we try from that brand is really good. That it's that solid foundation, building your personal brand or your cosmetic brand on that solid foundation of quality is what's really going to increase that longevity beyond that viral moment. As far as, let me see, how much more do I have left in my notes? I have a lot to say. I'm going a little bit too slow because I went off on a tangent, but we do need to take a break because we're at 31 minutes and I want to just tell you a little bit about what's on my face today. This is not sponsored, but I am very biased towards Sigma. So I'm just letting you know the bias is there, but I really do love these products. This Sigma Little Mermaid collection, here is the bag. It just launched last week. Very cute. It's very hard-sided, so if you have something that is, it's pretty hard. So if you have something that's more delicate, this will hold its shape in whatever you're putting it in, whatever you're, if you're traveling with it. The Little Mermaid palette is what I'm wearing on my eyes today. I wanted to do something a little more natural, which is difficult with this palette, but I did use the more natural shades in here, the little corner of more natural. I use the shades Soft Shell, Loverboy, Sea King, and Scroll. I use the more matte shades. This one's got a little bit of sparkle in it, the darker brown. I use that to set up the crease, and then I tapped, and then I used, I did not use Soft Shell, which is the darker red shimmery shade. I used the shade Sing, which is this pink shade all over my lid, and then I tapped a little bit of Scroll in the center to give it a little bit of a gold shift to it. Just really, really beautiful. And then on my lower lash line, I used the shade Beautiful Voice, which is this tealy green shade. And it does have a little bit of a shift to it from like a blue to a green. It's really beautiful. I was trying to kind of match my T-Rex shirt, the I'm Unstoppable shirt. I try to match, I'm not sure if you've noticed, I try to match my t-shirts with the topic. So I've got my T-Rex being unstoppable with his little hand grips on, reaching with his little claws, his little fake claws, so he can reach things, and he's feeling awesome about that. And I also have my Tears of My Enemies cup, which just happened to be the clean cup, but I thought that would be a fun one to drink my coffee out of today. But yes, I used I was trying to use my shirt as inspiration for my look today, but this palette has been fabulous so far. This I talk about in PR Purchase Product of the Week tomorrow. This is the Sigma blush, these little shell compacts. And I say this tomorrow, even if you're not into Little Mermaid, if you love the beach, like, look at this. If you're like a beachy person and you love beachy stuff, this is so freaking beautiful. It's got that pearlescent look to it, and the black, this is the highlighter. I grabbed the wrong, no, I used both. I used the highlighter too. The highlighter is pretty subtle. I'm going to swatch that for you. It's not a big loud from Space highlighter, which I really love. It's got a little bit of a pink shift to it. It's like a white with a pink shift, but it's pretty subtle. It's not super shiny. It's more of a lightening of your cheeks with a little bit of shine to it. I'd be curious to see this on different skin tones and how that works. But it's very, very subtle. It's not as bold as you might think. And then the blush, of course, is the same. I'll just show you real quick. The blush is absolutely gorgeous. That's what I'm wearing on my cheeks today. And then on my lips today, I use the lip creme. Is that what it's called? I think it's called a lip creme. Lip cream. And Dingle Hopper is the name of the shade, which is really cute, but it wasn't deep enough for on camera. So I used a tiny bit of the shade Sea King from the eyeshadow palette just to deepen it up a little bit. But yeah, really, really loving this collection so far. I think Sigma knocked it out of the freaking park. I was able to see kind of the process of how they put these collections together, and it's absolutely freaking fascinating. I told them, I was like, y'all need to create content talking about this stuff and showing people the behind the scenes of creating a project like this. I don't know how much they can because of licensing and everything, but it really was absolutely fascinating. So that's what's on my face today. Really, really enjoying that. This video, of course, is not sponsored, but I did receive this in PR, and yeah, feeling super positive vibes towards Sigma right now. So yeah, super biased. Just letting you know. I'll always let you know. Sometimes I don't realize when I'm being biased, so then I won't let you know. But if I know I'm being biased, oh yeah, I'll let you know. But it is genuinely a good collection. I am really enjoying it. But yeah, so that's a thing. All right, back to the topic. Let's see. Oh my gosh, Naomi's using her Tears of My Enemy's cup this morning too. We match. Cheers. Cheers to you. Yay. Okay. So go back to my notes. So we were talking about the negative sides of social media and tying your personal worth to your subscriber count. And that's something that I've really struggled with since I started this channel. I've watched a lot of people start after me and get in the millions of subscribers way faster than me. I've seen people take concepts that I've started and then do better than me with the same concept. That's really freaking frustrating. But if someone can take a concept, there's nobody owns anything like that. If somebody can take a concept that somebody else has created and make it better and do better with it, that's their right. That's their right to do that. But it is frustrating sitting here and watching those kinds of things happen, and for 2.5 years, my content, my channel didn't grow. I called it flatlining. I wasn't losing subscribers. I wasn't gaining subscribers. I was just maintaining. And it was a good place to maintain. I was still able to do it as a full-time job. Definitely not complaining. But I was trying to figure out how my content could grow. And in that 2.5 years, I got a little sad at times because I would make a piece of content that I was really proud of, that I thought was really good, and people didn't like it. And you take it personal. I did this little series for a while where I was creating these little skits, little acting skits. I was writing these scripts and I was doing these little things, and I loved it. I had so much fun with it. I was green screen in the background and just really had fun with it. And people didn't, on the whole, overall, didn't really like it. And I was sad about that because I wanted to do more of that content. But when you do this as a job, you have to go where the audience goes. And hopefully you can find something that you like, that the audience also likes, which is where I am now. But when you tie your personal value to the growth of a social media platform or the sinking of a social media platform, because there was a good year or two where I was losing subscribers every day. There's a lot of beauty channels right now. If you go to their social blades, they're losing subscribers every day. They're in the red, they're in the negative. And that's really frustrating and upsetting, especially when you've built something up. It's almost like playing a video game and you've gotten to a certain level, and then you just start losing all that momentum, all that gain, and you just see it all slipping away. And you don't know how to stop the leak. You don't know how to stop it from happening. And maybe you didn't even necessarily do anything to cause it to happen, but maybe just your content's getting stale, or maybe just the things you're making just aren't resonating with people, or it could be so many reasons. Um, but it's hurtful. So separating yourself from the content you're creating is so important for mental health. And with these viral moments, you just can't maintain a viral momentum. You just can't. Very few people can do that. And it comes from developing a strong base of people. And I think that when you go viral, when someone goes viral, that's the opportunity. That's the moment to build the strong base. You can't count on those people just coming in for one video to be your strong base. You need to then capitalize on that moment and help those people to stay by creating more great content that they'll resonate with and really enjoy. Um, yeah, Kirsten says reinventing yourself is sometimes necessary. Oh, absolutely. 100%, because times change, trends change, things change, and changing the path and the direction of where you're going is important, but the difficult part is figuring out how you're going to do that. Like, what is the pivot that is going to resonate with people? And sometimes you just have to try, you're throwing, blindly throwing, not blindly, but you're throwing darts at a dartboard, and sometimes things hit and sometimes things don't. And it's just figuring that out. It's really can be very stressful, especially if you're a person that is relying this on as your full-time income. Very, very stressful, especially if you have a family, or pets that you're taking care of, an apartment or a house that you need to pay rent on, car you need to put gas in, utilities to pay, groceries to buy, and you see your channel just slipping away. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. But my point is when people go on the internet to create content, you have to understand that that's part of the job. That's what you're signing up for. And it can end up going really well, or it can end up going really badly. And it can go badly at any moment, because you can go viral for a negative reason too. You also have the public scrutiny. People, and especially on TikTok. Oh my gosh, people are freaking brutal on TikTok. It is a whole nother world, the comments on TikTok. I uploaded that video from last week's chat to YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. People are horrible over on TikTok, just really nasty people. And you have to be able to handle that. And it's hard, especially if you're going viral, people making fun of the way you look, people making fun of, the way you talk, the clothes you wear, and all of that. Like, that's difficult. If our brains were not meant to handle that much feedback. just not meant to handle all of that. All that public scrutiny. People might dig into people's pasts and find things. It's just, there's so much risk to that viral moment for a person, you know? Hopefully you haven't done anything that could be dug up. Hopefully. But if people have, that's something that can happen. All the unsolicited opinions, the negative commentary on what you're doing. It's a whole nother world. And literally our brains were not meant to handle that much feedback. So taking some time away for your mental health, super, super, super freaking important. Because it's people say, well, they're strangers, it doesn't matter, and all of that. And I think that when you've got literally hundreds of people telling you how ugly you are or whatever it is, it's a little different than having one person. It's hard to describe. It's hard to describe. Our brains just weren't wired to handle that, because it's just so amplified. And that can definitely lead to mental health struggles. And it's people don't think about that when they're chasing that viral moment. People don't think about the impact of the feedback and how that's going to hurt a person, how that could hurt a person. Some people are really good at it. Some people are very unbothered and they're good. But I can't imagine that there's anybody on this entire planet that isn't ever impacted by negative feedback. I can't imagine that person exists. Maybe they do. It seems like it would be impossible. The other thing that I've seen, and actually I saw Jaclyn Hill talk about this, was the disconnect between the viral version of yourself, the internet version of yourself and who you are in real life, and recognizing, and this is something that I had trouble wrapping my brain around too, recognizing that the person you are off camera isn't the same as the person that people see, because the people, you can only put yourself and who you are as a person out so much for people to get to know who you really are. Um, so you can't they're really, the representation of you isn't the same, and recognizing and trying to separate those two identities. And I really appreciated when Jacqueline talked about that, because I think that that's something that when people want to create content, it's something to consider, that people will see you as this, but that doesn't encompass all of who you are. Yes, this is a really good point, Mallory. Mallory says when Tati went viral, it really saturated her community with people who were not there for the makeup. Even though she had a strong base, it really had a negative impact. Absolutely. And flying on a private jet with Jeffree Star was not, it attracted Jeffree's fans. And some of the people, I'm not nobody's a monolith, you know. Audra taught me that word, monolith. You know. It's nobody's a monolith. No group of people is a monolith. Everybody, you can't say every single person that like Jeffree is a trash human being, you know what I mean? But he does have a lot of people that are horrible people that follow him and love all of the horrible things that he says and does. And those people became Tati fans. And that was not good, in my opinion. That was not good. I was looking for that short-term gain rather than the long-term consequence. Totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. Um, okay. All right. I'm going to skip that part. Okay. Some of the stuff that I wrote down is repetitive. Like the over reliance on validation from likes and comments and views, the fluctuating. That's something that a lot of us deal with. When I go to these creator events, when your content fluctuates up and down, which is natural, for moments of your content doing really well, moments of your content not doing well. It takes a toll on your mental health and maintaining, and when you that's why it's so dangerous to tie your personal value to your social media numbers. And I remember talking about this when the James Charles stuff happened in real time, that one of the reasons why he was crashing so hard, mentally, in my opinion, and mentally and emotionally, was because he had tied his value to his numbers. And I forget what my reference was for that, but I remember thinking that maybe it was a tweet or maybe it was something that he said or something. But I remember thinking that it's like, oh. But in that case, if you're losing sponsorships and you have, an $8 million house or whatever he lived in at the time, you need to pay your bills or else you're going to lose your house. So that's the other piece to it. It may not just be about tying your personal value, but you need those views in order to maintain whatever lifestyle you've built up. But that comes from developing a base and not necessarily a viral moment. But it is important, to take into consideration coming into a situation where you may be getting sponsorships from a viral moment, to then make sure you're managing that money appropriately, understanding that it may not last forever, and taking whatever money you're getting in and managing it well. And that's really difficult for people like myself who grew up without money. Um, if you come into it too fast, it's easy to spend that very quickly. And I do have an example of that. When I was waiting tables, I was 22, maybe 21, 20, somewhere in there, 22 probably. And I got $1,000 tip one night. It was in like one of those paper things from the bank. It was just this wad of money sitting on the seat. No, it was on the table. It was on the seat. It was on the table, but it was back far by like the salt and pepper at the end of the table. And I went, holy shit. And I took the money and I gave it to my boss. And I said, I think they might have left this by accident. Can you put this in the safe? because I'm scared that they left this by accident, because they could not have purposely left this for me. So we put it in the safe for a week. They never came back, and I took the money. And I bought my first $80 pair of jeans. This is, 2001 maybe. And I took that money and I went to a restaurant. I took the hostess that sat them. I took the cook that made the food. I took anybody that was involved in the serving of those people. I took them out to this super bougie restaurant in Baltimore City. And it was a Spanish restaurant, Spanish restaurant. And we had a $500 dinner with my $1,000 tip. I probably should have, it was a nice gesture, but I probably should have managed that money a little better considering I was poor as shit. But that money was gone in, I don't know, a month at the most. So my point in telling that story is that when people that don't have, I'm just going to speak for myself, when I didn't have money and I came into a large chunk of money that I had never had in my life, my first instinct was to spend it like it was going to last forever, to act like a wealthy person for that month. And I lived my best life for that month, and it was gone. And then I was back to being paycheck to paycheck again, because it felt so good. It felt so good. I later ripped those jeans climbing over a barbed wire fence into a pool that I wasn't supposed to be in, but that's a story for another day. My point is when somebody goes viral and maybe they get all these sponsorships, it's really important to recognize that money might not last forever, and to manage that money and spend it wisely instead of just buying all of the things, because that's super easy to do. And that's what happens to a lot of people that win the lottery and things like that. Really, really important to consider. So yeah, that's another point as far as the money piece of it, that it doesn't last forever. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I need more of that money. And I need more of that validation. I need more of that. It's almost like a drug. You want more of that because it was so amazing and you want to have that experience again. And it's really difficult to make lightning strike twice, genuinely. So yeah. What else do I have in my notes? I'm pretty much going over all of my notes without even realizing. Yeah, like the emotional strain of being in the spotlight is something that's on here. Constant engagement with comments and feedback can be overwhelming. And a lot of people that go viral, they stop commenting back to people, which is smart, especially on TikTok. But even just reading all of that feedback, again, our brains aren't meant to handle all of that. And yeah, it's my point in this whole live chat is just to say that even though there are so many people that are chasing that viral moment, I don't think people realize what that actually means and take time to really think about what will happen if they do go viral. Yes, it may be that dopamine hit. It may be that amazing moment, but there is an after. And what are you going to do with the after? That's the hard part. That's the really hard part. Dolphins Girl says, that's why sports athletes need trustworthy money managers. So many ex-players are broke because they lived for the moment and not the future. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's extremely common. It's extremely common to come into wealth and then blow it if you grew up without anything, because it just feels so good. It's like scratching an itch. It's like scratching an itch, and it's like, yes, I finally get freedom. I finally get to breathe. I finally get to have fun. But it's that, the study, the marshmallow thing, where they put the kids in the room. It's a very, very famous study where they put the little kids in the room, like kindergartners, and they put a marshmallow on the table and they say, I'm going to give you 5 minutes or whatever. And if you don't eat the marshmallow, I'll give you 3 marshmallows when I get back in 5 minutes. And it's whether people can delay that gratification, whether people can whether the kid can not eat the marshmallow, right? I know some of you have heard of this. And the kids that don't eat the marshmallow, they tracked them over time and found that the kids that were able to wait were more successful in life. The ability to delay gratification is a direct correlation with more likely to be successful long term. And that's something to consider for people that are trying to go viral. That if they do, what to do with that then. Um, and I'm really hoping that one of the success stories is going to be Reese Atisa because I love her so much. If you don't know Who the F Did I Marry, look it up. There's compilation videos of every single one of her videos, but in order to properly reward Risa for that story and everything, I would highly recommend just going over to her TikTok and watching them from beginning to end. That's what I did. I jumped in most of the way up through her uploading them, and it is an epic journey. Risa is an amazing storyteller, and now they're turning it into a Netflix movie, which she absolutely deserves. And I do hope she's one of those long-term success stories that she turns this opportunity into something beautiful for herself. Um, so, so yeah. Yeah. Or marshmallows aren't their favorite treat. Dog walker, good point. Good point. So, yeah, Julie says I have one marshmallow and many credit card bills. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but there are a lot of people that are, using Klarna and getting themselves into an obnoxious amount of debt, using their credit cards to buy things in order to get that feeling, that relief, that happy feeling, because when you don't have money, you don't get that feeling, that happy dopamine hit, and you're just looking for it, but there's no extra money is the problem. There's no extra money in order to get that. And it's hard to save up that $5, $10 at a time in order to get the things. So instead, you just charge it. And then you get into the situation of the interest rates and all of that. Social Simone, if you are interested in that kind of content, to newer content creator, newer to me, that I've been really enjoying, talks a lot about the trap of credit cards and things like that. I'm not saying that's your situation, Julia, at all. But I'm just saying in general, I think that's one way that people will cope with that. I don't have anything that's making me happy and bringing me joy. So they get that dopamine hit of that purchase. And hopefully the thing brings them long-term joy. But sometimes they're paying for it on their credit card with the interest longer than the dopamine hit lasted, which is really sad. So yeah. Yeah. Michelle says, I miss layaway. I didn't know layaway went away. Is it gone? I guess so, because it's kind of like Klarna and all those different things. I keep clicking on Dolphins Girl. It's funny how the same people, I see their same comments in live chat. Like, I'll miss Dolphins Girl for like a month, and then all of a sudden it's like the whole chat is she says, your waitressing story reminds me of a time I won $150 the very first time I went to this new casino in my neighborhood. You would have thought I won $10,000. I was paranoid just walking to my car. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Julie says, this whole situation is my situation. Got a job, spent money like water, have landed back in reality. Yeah. And it's it's hard. It's so hard. It's so hard to not scratch that itch. That's why people do it. That's why there's so many people in debt right now, paying, you buy, a $50 thing, and by the time you pay it off, you've paid $100 for it, or $75 for that $50 thing, because you've charged it and now you're paying the interest, and the credit card company is making so much off of us, off of us buying things that we really can't afford right now just to feel that joy. Oh, okay. All right. Wendy says, oh, wait, hold on a minute. Yeah, Stephanie says layaway was no interest. It was great for my mom when I was little. Yeah. And I just didn't have things. My parents didn't use layaway. I just didn't have things. I just didn't get anything. um, my parents, I remember my mom used to buy, so we would have lots of Christmas presents. She would buy little things, like lots of little things, little junky things. She would get things at yard sales and, at the thrift store and stuff, and she would wrap them. So we would have lots of presents to open, instead of getting like one big thing. But so we always had presents at Christmas, which I'm very, very thankful for. But my mom would never, never. My mom's really money smart overall. She would never do layaway. I don't know why though, because there's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I don't know. But yeah, she never, I'm pretty sure she had credit cards. I don't know. She didn't share a lot of that with me when I was a kid. Maybe she did do layaway. Like I was telling you, not that long ago that my mom sold Avon when I was a kid. And I used to kind of say, Avon put food on my table. Avon did, gave us our first this, our first that. My mom won all these prizes and she was one of the top sellers. And what my mom told me just a few months ago was that she didn't really make that much money with Avon, but she never told me that. Which was appropriate not to tell your kids that you're poor. My mom never really told me. I didn't realize that I grew up without money until I was older and was like, wait, you had that and you had that and I didn't have any of that. Like, like what? You had a Teddy Ruxpin? Really? Like, I didn't know anybody actually bought those things. They were so expensive. But anyway, yeah. So yeah. Yeah. But anyway, um, that was kind of what I wanted to say today. So what it comes down to is creators that want to go viral. It is really important to think about what that actually means beyond the viral moment. And I think that's especially true for younger people that just don't have as many life experiences and maybe just haven't thought that far. And understanding that your self-care is so important. I want to point you to another video, very quickly. D'Angelo, who used to have a channel called D'Angelo Wallace. Now he's just D'Angelo, put up a video. It's heart-wrenching. You definitely, trigger warning. He talks about lots of heart-wrenching things in the video. But the video is something like, why do you ever feel like you'll never be happy? Something like that. And this is a creator, if you don't know D'Angelo. I'm just going to try to make this quick. Everything D'Angelo uploads gets 6, 7, 800,000 views, if not more. The man is brilliant. His connection, his social maturity when it comes to understanding society and how it functions, his humor, he's freaking brilliant. But he's also depressed a lot. He lives with chronic depression. And I did not know that until this video. And I think that the video he made was so important because it just continues to reinforce the fact that you can be absolutely brilliant. You can reinvent yourself. D'Angelo's had this is like his third channel that's gone over, that he's getting hundreds of thousands of views on. Like, he's brilliant. He's smart. He's funny. He's got these incredible, really interesting takes on the world. I don't agree with him 100% of the time, but most of the time, almost all the time. But yet he struggles with depression. And you wouldn't know based on the content he creates and the smile on his face. So imagine dealing with depression and also having basically every single one of your videos go viral and what the impact that has on him as a person. And the work I'm sure he has to do to separate himself from the comments must be so, so challenging. And my heart just really went out to him in that video. And I hope that he finds his peace, and he seems to be finding his peace. But self-care is just so important no matter what you do for a job, and making sure that you're taking care of yourself in every way possible. And that's what I wanted to say. So I hope you enjoyed live chat today. I will tell you that what I'm going to do when I get off of this is I am going to bust my butt on finishing the product report, which is going live tomorrow. And then I'm going to bust my butt on getting this James Charles Part 4 video up. The goal is to have it to have it up for you on Friday. It has to be up on Friday because the next week I'm going to Palm Springs for Creators and Friends. So that would push it another 2 weeks before the video goes up. And I can't let it go that long. I told people it's going to be 1 to 2 weeks, and it'll be 4 weeks at this point, I think. So I'm going to just put everything into getting this video up for you on Friday. And I hope you love it because it's really turning out to be a video that I know I'm going to be proud of. So keep an eye out for that. Calendar wise, like I like to do, just like I was saying, next week should be normal as far as the content. Next week's normal. And then I leave on the Monday, the 23rd to go to Creators and Friends. So I'm hoping to be able to get something up for you that following weekend. We will have live chat on the 29th. And I'm hoping to get at least something up for you for that weekend as a What's Been Makeup, but it won't be the regular format. And then after that, it should go back to normal for a bit. I don't have anything for a while that I can see. It won't be until late October, early November before I have anything else to share with you on that. So I hope you have a lovely week. Mad love to you. Just know I will be busting my butt to get you the best possible content for this weekend. I think it's going to be this coming weekend. I think it's going to be awesome, and I'm excited for you to see it. So have a wonderful week. Mad love to you, and I will see you in a video very, very soon tomorrow. Bye.